Oh no, I agree. I mean, you know, Keegan was at fault there. As I say, I think he backed the wrong horse. But I think the fundamental basis for Keegan's departure is that the goalposts were moved, plain and simple. I think the biggest disgrace, even a bigger disgrace than the fact that he was betrayed in that sense by the club, is the fact that the fans have been betrayed this week, by the club. Just basically going to ground. Not one person has stuck their head above the parapet. You've got Derek Lambius, who's never spoken one word to the fans, other than the propaganda in his programme column, in a couple of home games. This guy's just come up here, and suddenly he's somehow equipped and knowledgeable enough to decide that Kevin Keegan needs to be put in his place and isn't the man to find or isn't the man to authorise transfers at Newcastle United. I mean, who is Derek Lambius to say that?
So you think Keegan was putting in... Do you think he just couldn't have stuck it out for the fans if he says he cares so much for the fans?
If there's a structure in place, if Ashley is standing so firm behind that structure, when there is so much criticism of it from not only Keegan and people at Newcastle United, but the fan base as well, the fact that Ashley has basically stuck by Dennis Wise and co. I mean, Dennis Wise is obviously notorious across the country. He's not a popular figure anyway before he even came anywhere near Newcastle United. But then he brought in complete nobodies alongside him, who are suddenly deemed to be transfer gurus. When unfortunately their sphere of influence seems to extend no further than Spain, or the more obscure parts of South America.
And if Kevin had stuck it out, say he had done, with players that he's been given, all right, he's fair enough. Gutierrez looks pretty good. Colcini's a proven player. But what if the others are duff? Does he go back to Ashley and say, look, I've been given rubbish?
Yeah, exactly.
Go and have a word with Mr. Wise.
Exactly.
He's not going to do that.
Yeah. I would argue you could have stuck it out at least to the Christmas transfer window. Say, right, you've brought these players in, don't like them, let's see how they work. If they turn out rubbish, you can go to Mike Ashley and say, look, they're rubbish, this is what I'm being dealt with, now let me choose some players. That's only a matter of, 3 or 4 months away.
I just think that Keegan is too emotionally demonstrative a character to ever let things simmer. He has to, if a challenge arises, he has to meet it head on there and then. He's not the type that can, set his emotions to one side and just get on with the job while he's unhappy. I mean, I think it's just, again, you might think that's a character flaw. Other people might think it's an asset, that he wears his heart on his sleeve. But I don't think it's realistic to expect Keegan to work under conditions which he deems to be unacceptable.
He strikes you as a resignation waiting to happen, Keegan, all the time. But as you stressed, that he could have given it 3 or 4 months to the Christmas transfer deadline and said, look, I've been dealt rubbish, I want to do it my way. And actually, if the results weren't going his way, would
the other problem with that, you see, is that Keegan has been told all the way down the line, you're going to get what you want. You're going to get decent players. You're going to get this, that, and the other. Even as I say, last Friday when he was trying to explain the James Milner deal, he still believed that he was going to get decent, top-class players in by Monday night. Now, the fact is, he has said to the fans on Friday and before, judge us at the close of the transfer window. Okay, the transfer window closed. Judgment day had come. The fact is that if Keegan had then said, oh, no, judge us in 2 years, judge us in 18 months, judge us in January, he'd then be moving the goalpost. His integrity would be, completely undermined. And where would he go from there, in terms of being an authority figure at Newcastle United? I just think it's absolutely incredible that Mike Ashley can stand by Dennis Wise and a bunch of complete nobodies in football terms, while, as Steve said, just basically watching from afar in America as the storm unfolds. And I would find it amazing if he's able to do that at the same time as having a long-term commitment to the club. In other words, how can he comfortably sleep at night, knowing that he's devastated the city, basically, if he actually intends to stay in the long term? This smacks to me of a man who will get out now at the first decent opportunity. If anyone offers him a profit, I think he'll be gone. And I hope he'll be gone, because he's fatally let down Newcastle United. He let down Kevin Keegan. And the backlash now, I mean, people have obviously tried to put into words already just the depth of ill feeling that will, be unleashed on Ashley and co. But I don't think anyone really understands quite yet how deep that ill feeling will be. So,
do you think it'll last till the whole game? Do you really think it's
last? I think it'll last a long time past the whole game. I don't think there's anyone that they could bring in now. I don't think there's a manager now that they can bring in who can solve the PR disaster that they've brought upon themselves. Alan Shearer, I don't think will come anywhere near this situation unless Mike Ashley's prepared to do what he wouldn't do for Kevin Keegan, and that's get rid of Wise and Co. So where do Newcastle go from here? I don't know. I think it'll be a foreign coach, someone who'll come in, be a yes man to an extent, will work within the structure that Ashley set up. But will that manager ever have the true support of the fans while Ashley remains in situ? I don't think he will. Therefore, I think the only solution for Ashley in the long term, the only solution for Newcastle United in the long term, is for Ashley to sell up. So let's pray that someone comes in with big money. You know, we've spent most of the week hearing people worrying about the foreign owners. You know, and I find it quite ironic when, you know, one of the sort of the dwindling number of English owners has proved to be such a complete letdown. So there we are. Anyway, if people want to go on to the Sunday Sun website and debate what we've talked about here, debate the Keegan issue and where Newcastle go from here, you can do. It's the Sunday Sun website. That's www.sundaysun.co.uk.